In Japanese horror, the fear isn't always about being attacked. Sometimes it's about crossing a line you didn't even know existed. There are stories where a place doesn't feel haunted, at least not at first. It feels managed, guarded, like something is being kept in place on purpose. And the real danger isn't seeing a ghost, it's changing the rules. This story is one of Japan's most famous modern legends. They call it Kankandara. When I was in elementary and middle school, I lived in a rural area. I was a reckless kid, always getting into trouble. I had two friends who were just like me, A and B, and the three of us caused problems almost every day. We were the kind of kids adults had already given up on. A and I were treated like lost causes at home. Our families had basically stopped expecting anything from us. But B was different in one way. B's mother, she was strict, but she never stopped looking after him. She didn't spoil him, and she wasn't soft. But you could tell she did everything she could. Even when B acted out, she still made sure he was fed, clothed, and taken care of. She tried, constantly. When we were in ninth grade, B got into a huge fight with his mother. He never told us exactly what he said, but later it became clear he had said something that cut deep, something that really hurt her. According to B, his mother collapsed. And when she collapsed, B's father came home. B's father took one look at the scene and seemed to understand everything without asking a single question. He didn't even look at B. He just walked straight to his wife. She was on the floor, disheveled, hair messy, clothes twisted, and her eyes looked empty, like a dead fish. She was staring at nothing. B's father pulled her into his arms and spoke, still not looking at B. "Look at what you've become," he said. "You're the kind of person who can crush your own parents like this. Do you have any idea how much your mother worries about you?" B didn't listen. "Shut up," B snapped. "Want me to kill you too, huh?" Even then, B's father didn't react. He stayed calm. "You think there's nothing in this world you're afraid of," he said. B shouted back immediately. "That's right, nothing. If there is, show me." B's father went quiet for a few seconds. Then he spoke again, and his tone changed. "You're my son," he said. "I know how much your mother cares. I know how much she worries. But if this is the only way you can treat her, then I have a decision to make." He paused. "What I'm about to say, this isn't a father speaking to his son. This is one person speaking to a stranger. And I'm telling you now, I'm only saying this because I've already accepted that you might die. If you're still willing to hear it, then listen." B later told us that for the first time, he felt something like pressure in the air. Not fear exactly, but the kind of force that makes you swallow. Still, he forced himself to grin. "Fine," he said. "Say it." "There's a section of the forest you're not supposed to enter," his father said. "You know where it is. Go in. Keep walking deeper. You'll understand the rest when you get there." Then, without waiting for an answer, his father carried his wife upstairs. B stormed out of the house. He found me and A, and he told us A looked uneasy. "Your dad actually said all that? That's serious." I tried to laugh it off, but my stomach was tight. "Isn't that forest the place people say has some kind of cult facility? Like a brainwashing compound? That sounds bad." "Are you really going?" B spat on the ground. "Of course I'm going. It's just old man intimidation. He's bluffing." A and I, honestly, we went partly out of curiosity, partly because we didn't want B going alone, and partly because we were stupid kids who thought fear was something you could beat by mocking it. So we agreed to go. We gathered some basic tools, flashlights, a few things we thought might help if we had to climb or pry something open, and we left late at night. It was around 1 in the morning when we reached the mountain. There's a small mountain near where we lived. The lower slopes were normal. People could hike there, and the forest looked ordinary at first. But deep inside, there was a restricted zone. It wasn't the whole forest, just a very specific area. Like a shape drawn on a map, a square, and inside that square, a smaller circle. An inner zone you weren't supposed to enter. People didn't fully understand why. The restricted area was enclosed by a fence, nearly 2 meters tall. Thick ropes were wrapped around it, and wire ran across it. White paper strips were attached all along the perimeter, like ritual talismans. And there were bells, small and large, hanging everywhere. Even the fence itself looked wrong. In places it was warped, twisted, as if it had been forced into shape in a hurry. Sometimes people said shamans or ritual specialists would come there on certain days. People had seen groups gathering near the entrance. But those days, the entire surrounding area would be blocked off, and no one knew what actually happened inside. There were rumors, of course. The most popular rumor was that there was a cult facility deep in there. But hardly anyone ever went all the way. The path was annoying and exhausting, and most people didn't have the courage. So even the rumors felt half made up. That night, we started walking into the forest. The path was easy at first. Even in light clothing, you could walk it. We wore work boots, because that was what we always wore when we wandered around like this. But the restricted zone was far. It took nearly 40 minutes to reach the fence. We had walked maybe 5 minutes when something happened. Almost the moment we entered the forest and started moving, we heard a sound. Faint. Far away, but unmistakable. The silence of the night made the sound feel louder, like the darkness was carrying it toward us. B noticed first. "Hey," he said quietly. "Do you hear that?" We stopped and listened. Something was dragging through dead leaves, and branches were snapping, sharp little cracks over and over. It was distant. So distant it almost didn't feel real. At first, none of us were truly scared. We thought it might be animals or wind, or maybe our own imagination working against us. We kept walking, but after about 20 minutes, B stopped again, and his face looked different. He turned to A. "A," he said, "walk forward. Just you." A frown. "What? Why?" "Just do it. Don't talk. Hurry." A walked forward alone, then came back to us. B didn't say anything. He just stared, thinking. A looked annoyed. "Okay, what is it? What's going on?" I snapped too, trying to cover my nerves. "Yeah, explain." B raised his hand. "Shut up," he whispered. "Listen." Then B walked forward alone, came back, and did it again. 2 or 3 times. And that's when we understood. The sound was matching our movement. When we walked, it walked. When we stopped, it stopped. It was like something out there knew exactly what we were doing. The air felt colder, not physically, but in a way you can't ignore. There was no light except our flashlights. The moon was up, but the branches swallowed it. Didn't matter. Our flashlights meant someone could see us if they were watching. That part wasn't strange. What was strange was this. Even we could barely see each other's faces in that darkness, unless we deliberately turned the light. So how could something move with us perfectly without any light? B yelled into the trees. "Stop messing with us. Is someone following us? Are you trying to scare us?" A shook his head slowly. "It's not getting closer. It's been the same distance the entire time." He was right. For 20 minutes, the sound never approached. It never retreated. It maintained an exact, steady distance. I felt my throat tighten. Are we being watched? Swallowed. If it's a cult, maybe they have some weird setup, like traps, or someone stationed out here. From the sound alone, it didn't feel like multiple people. It felt like one presence, one thing clinging to us. We stopped for a moment and thought. We decided it was dangerous to go searching for it in the darkness. So we kept going forward, carefully watching our surroundings. The sound kept following. But when we finally saw the fence ahead, the sound almost disappeared from our minds. Because the fence itself, up close, was far worse than anything we'd imagined. All three of us had never seen it in person before. But standing there, it felt unreal. It wasn't just strange. It felt like something made to contain something that shouldn't be touched. For the first time, even we, kids who claimed we didn't believe in ghosts, started thinking the same thing. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't a rumor. This was dangerous. I looked at it, his face pale. Is your dad telling you to break this and go in? Look at it. This is insane. B's jaw tightened. Shut up. Don't chicken out. B took the tools we brought and started trying to break the fence. The moment metal hit the structure, bells exploded in sound. Dozens of them, all ringing at once. We hadn't prepared for this. Our tools were pathetic compared to the fence. And the fence was unnaturally strong. It didn't move. It didn't bend. It felt like it was made from something tougher than it looked. In the end, we had no choice but to climb. The rope made it easier than the raw fence would have been. We climbed over, and the moment my feet touched the other side, I felt it. A sudden pressure in my chest, like I'd walked into a sealed room. A suffocating sensation, trapped. A and B felt it too. Both of them hesitated, unable to take the next step. But we had crossed over. The only option was forward. We started walking inside the restricted zone, and immediately all three of us realized something. The sound that had followed us the entire way stopped. It was gone the moment we crossed the fence. Part of me felt relief, but it was the wrong kind of relief, because it raised a new thought, one that made my stomach drop. A whispered, barely audible, what if the thing making that sound was always inside here? What if it couldn't follow us past the fence? So it stayed at the boundary and copied our movement from inside. B scoffed. That makes no sense. We heard it near the forest entrance. You think it could see us from here? This is way too far. Normally, B would have been right. The restricted area was deep. The entrance was far away. We'd been walking for a long time, but something inside me refused to dismiss it. Because if that thing wasn't normal, distance might not matter the same way. B shrugged and forced confidence. Ghost or whatever, he said. If it can't get past the fence, it's not a big deal. Then he started walking again. We walked for another 20 or 30 minutes. And then we saw something else, something that made my mouth go dry. 6 trees stood in a rough circle. Sacred rope was tied between them, creating a hexagon-shaped boundary. Paper talismans hung from it, cleaner, more deliberate than the ones on the outer fence. And in the center of that hexagon, there was a box, like a small offering box. The moment we saw it, all three of us froze. And I looked at each other and, without speaking, We both felt the same thing. We had crossed into a place that wasn't meant for humans. Even idiots like us knew what sacred rope and talismans usually meant. They were used to mark places of ritual, places meant to hold something back. I whispered, This must be what your father meant." A's voice shook. "We need to stop. This is too much. This is wrong." But B refused to back down. "It doesn't look evil," he said. "Come on. Let's check the box. There might be something inside." He pushed between the ropes and stepped into the hexagon. A and I followed, not because we wanted to, but because we were afraid of what B might do alone. The box was rusted from rain and wind. The top had a mesh-like cover, and beneath it was a wooden panel, so you couldn't see inside. There was writing on it too, chalk or something like that. Words on all sides, multiple sentences on each side. None repeated. Different phrases like warnings or prayers surrounding the box. A, and I tried not to touch anything. B, on the other hand, handled it like it was just junk. He even picked up one of the bottle-shaped jars at the corners and sniffed it. Inside the box, at each of the four corners, there were containers shaped like plastic bottles or jars, with liquid inside. And in the center, there was something else. A thin stick about 5 centimeters long, like a toothpick. Its tip was painted red, and strangely, only the points where the lines met, 4 points, were painted. I stared at it. "What is that?" I asked. "A toothpick?" A grimaced. "There's liquid in these jars. This feels disgusting." B snorted. "We came all the way out here for bottles and a toothpick? I don't get it." He put the jar down and reached for the stick. His fingers were sweaty, and for a split second, the stick clung to his skin. It shifted, just slightly, out of its original position. And that was the moment everything changed. "Cheerin'! Cheerin'! Cheerin'! Cheerin'!" The bells erupted, not from where we stood, but from the opposite side of the hexagon, near the faint inner fence line. The sound was violent, like something was shaking them with force. All three of us flinched so hard, we almost fell over. B clicked his tongue. "Hey, who's there? Stop messing around." And he ran toward the sound. I screamed without thinking. "You idiot, don't go over there." I shouted too. "B, are you insane?" We scrambled after him, but then B stopped. He froze completely, his flashlight held forward. I tried to laugh, nerves breaking through. "What, you pretending? You trying to scare us now?" But B's body started trembling, small, uncontrollable shakes. I stepped closer, and without meaning to, I followed the beam of his flashlight. It was aimed at the base of one of the trees, and behind that tree, half her face peeking out, there was a woman's face staring at us. She leaned out just enough. No squinting, no reaction to the light. Her mouth was open, teeth visible. Her eyes were fixed. Then a scream broke loose, so loud I couldn't tell whose voice it was, and we ran. We turned and sprinted without thinking, our minds empty. We didn't check on each other, we didn't call names, we just ran. We headed for the outer fence. When the fence came into view, we threw ourselves at it. A was panicking so badly he couldn't climb properly. His feet slipped. He couldn't get up. "Hey, hurry!" I screamed. B yelled too. "Move! Get over!" We bounced on our feet, desperate, waiting for him. I couldn't stop shaking. "What was that? What was that?" B snapped back. "Shut up! Don't talk!" Then, "Cheerin'! Cheerin'! Cheerin'!" The bell sounds returned. Closer. The fence began to rattle. The noise came from the direction opposite the entrance, toward the mountain. And the rattling grew stronger, like something was coming along the fence line. My voice cracked. "We're in trouble! We're in trouble!" B screamed at A. "Now! Hurry!" A forced himself up, and just as A finally got to the top, my eyes stopped on something. I didn't speak. I couldn't. I just stared. A saw our faces from above and turned his head to follow our gaze. Far down the fence line toward the mountain, on the outside of the fence, something was clinging there. At first, my brain tried to make it into something normal, a person, a body. But it wasn't. It had no lower half, only the upper torso, naked, and arms. And not just 2 arms. It had 3 arms on the right, 3 on the left. 6 arms total. That was how it moved so smoothly on the ropes and wire, like a spider on a web. Its mouth was open as it came toward us. The fear was absolute. I screamed and jumped down from the top of the fence, crashing into B and me. That impact snapped us back into motion. We grabbed A and ran. We didn't look behind us. We couldn't. We ran like our lives depended on it, because they did. The entrance should have been less than 30 minutes away at a full sprint, but it felt like hours. Then, finally, we saw people up ahead, multiple people standing together. For a fraction of a second, all 3 of us stopped, choking on our breath. Are those... We stared. It wasn't that thing. It was people. Human silhouettes. And that realization shattered the paralysis. We rushed forward and threw ourselves into the group. Someone shouted, "There! We found them!" Another voice, "No way. Did you actually go inside the fence?" Someone yelled, "Call the mother! Now!" They were talking, running around us, grabbing our shoulders, but we couldn't respond. Our minds were blank. Even if they asked questions we couldn't understand. They loaded us into a car, and even though it was past 3 in the morning, they drove us to a local gathering hall, the kind used for village events. Inside, our families were there. My mother and sister, A's father, B's mother. B's mother was crying, of course, but what shocked me was my own mother. I had never seen her cry like that. B's mother rushed us. "Thank God, you're alive. Thank God." Then my mother hit me. A's father hit him too. But with the hitting came words we'd never heard before. Warm words, relieved words. After we calmed down, B's mother bowed deeply. "I'm so sorry," she said. "This is my husband's fault. And it's my fault too. I'm truly sorry. Truly." She bowed again and again. It felt wrong seeing an adult, someone else's mother, apologizing like that in front of us. A's father shook his head. "No, it's fine. They're alive. That's what matters." My mother said, "Yes, this isn't your fault." The adults talked among themselves for a while, and because it was late, the night ended without explanations. We went home. The next day around noon, I was asleep when my sister woke me. Her face looked like she hadn't slept at all. "What?" I mumbled. She said, "B's mother called. Something's wrong." I took the phone. B's mother was shouting, terrified. B is not okay. What did you do there last night? You didn't just go near the fence, did you? What did you do?" I couldn't talk to her in that state. I hung up and ran to B's house. A was there too. He'd gotten a similar call. B's mother told us what happened. After B came home, he suddenly started screaming that his arms and legs hurt. Not normal pain, He was on the floor with both arms and both legs stretched straight out, screaming, "It hurts!" over and over, like he couldn't move them. His mother tried to help him, tried to bend his limbs, tried to get him up, but he only screamed louder. They managed to drag him into his room, but he stayed like that all night. We went upstairs and we could hear him from the stairs. "It hurts. It hurts." We entered the room. B was exactly as described. Arms and legs stretched out, twitching and shaking. I grabbed his shoulder. "Hey, what's wrong with you?" I shouted too. "Snap out of it! What happened?" B didn't even look at us. He only screamed. I stood there, helpless, trying to understand. Then we went downstairs and B's mother spoke again. Calm now, too calm. "Tell me," she said. "What did you do there? I need to know exactly what you did, not what you saw, what you did." That question hurt, because it forced my mind back into the place I didn't want to remember. But she was right. If seeing it was enough to curse someone, then A and I should be suffering too. So it had to be something else. We touched the box too. We touched the jars too, then the stick, the toothpick-like stick. Only B touched that, only B moved it, and he never put it back. I told her. The moment I said it, B's mother's face changed. She started shaking. She opened a drawer, pulled out a paper, and made a phone call immediately. A and I just stood there and watched. After a short call, she returned and spoke with a trembling voice. "They said, if we go in person, they'll see us right away. Get ready. We leave now. I'll tell your parents. You don't need to explain anything. They'll understand and come back to my house the day after tomorrow." I didn't understand. Who were we going to see? Where? She wouldn't answer. She sent us home. And when I got home, my family didn't ask questions either. They only told me to go. 2 days later, A and I traveled with B's mother. B had gone ahead the day before. I expected it to be a nearby town. It wasn't. We took a high-speed train for hours, then from the station, a car for hours more. We ended up in a mountain village that looked like something from a painting. And even there, the destination was isolated. A large old estate, a main house with separate buildings, storage sheds, annexes, wide grounds. B's mother rang the doorbell. A man came out, and with him, a girl. The man wore a striped suit that looked outdated, almost tacky. The girl looked slightly older than us. She wore ceremonial clothing, white with red, like a shrine maiden. The man introduced himself casually, like a normal person. The girl's name sounded strange to my ears, something like a ceremonial title. But for simplicity, I'll call her Aoi. We were guided into a large tatami room, traditional straw mats, quiet air, and the conversation began immediately. The man spoke first. "Your son is resting," he said to B's mother. Then he looked at us. "These are the boys who were with him?" B's mother nodded. "They went together." The man turned to us. "Then tell us, where did you go? What did you do? And what did you see? As detailed as possible." We were shaken, but A and I told them everything. When we mentioned the stick, the man suddenly slammed his voice down. "You idiots!" he snapped. "What did you say you did?" A flinched. "What?" The man leaned forward. "Don't tell me you touched it." Before we could answer, Aoi spoke, softly like a mosquito's hum, but it cut through the room. "In the center of the box," she said, "there was a small stick-like object arranged to represent something. Did you touch it? Did you change its shape even slightly?" I swallowed. "It moved. I think it shifted." Aoi didn't react emotionally. She asked another question. Do you remember who changed it? Not who touched it. Who changed the shape? A and I looked at each other and said B's name. The man leaned back and sighed. Then he spoke to B's mother. Ma'am, he said, I'm sorry. Your son may be beyond saving. B's mother went still. So, that's it? It felt like she swallowed the rest of her words. And I couldn't breathe. Beyond saving, what does that mean? We wanted to ask, but our mouths wouldn't open. The man sighed again. Then he began to explain. What we had seen, what we ran from, had a name. Different families called it different things over time. Nirajara, Naritara, Kankandara, Kankandara. But the most common term now was simply Dara. In families like theirs, they used the name Kankandara. They said it was a story so old it was closer to myth than history. Long ago, a village was plagued by a monstrous serpent, something like a massive snake, a man-eating creature. The villagers begged for help from a powerful lineage of shrine women priestesses, believed to carry divine power through generations. A particularly strong priestess was sent to kill the serpent. The villagers hid and watched. She fought desperately, using every ritual and method she knew. But in a moment of weakness, the serpent bit her lower body and tore it away. Even then, she continued fighting, trying to protect the village. But the villagers, seeing she was doomed, made a choice. They offered her to the serpent as a sacrifice in exchange for peace. The serpent accepted, and to make her easier to devour, the villagers cut off her arms. Then the serpent swallowed what remained of the priestess, her torso, alive. For a short time, the village had peace. Then something worse began. People started dying. In the village, in the mountains, in the forest. Every body was found missing an arm, either the right or the left. 18 people died in total, including 6 from the priestess's family. Only 4 survived. The man and Aoi explained that the box and the ritual boundary were part of a long system built after those deaths. A container that was moved periodically, placed in mountains or forests, offered and maintained. Each time the location changed, the caretakers changed too. The writing on the box, the different phrases, were tied to the families that had taken responsibility at different times. There was even a kind of private council among families like theirs, deciding where the offering site would move. Nearby residents were never told the truth. If something went wrong, they were only told who to contact, an intermediary. And that intermediary was always from one of these families. B's mother had called someone like that. It wasn't this man, but the situation was urgent, so they sent her here. Aoi explained the structure of the site. The offering site is placed in mountains or forests, she said. The 6 trees and chains represent the villagers. The 6 sticks represent the priestess's family. The 4 jars at the corners represent the 4 survivors. The shape formed by the sticks represents the priestess herself. They didn't even fully know why the ritual took this exact shape. They only knew it had been maintained for generations. The man added something that made my blood run cold. There have been times our family managed to repel Kankandara, he said, but every time, the people involved died within 2 or 3 years. The ones who caused the incident rarely survive. That's how dangerous it is. We sat there, stunned. Then, the man turned to B's mother again. You understand how serious this is, he said. And as I said, if the stick hadn't been moved, we might have had options. But now, There may be no way. B's mother didn't accept it. Please, she said, do something. This is my fault. I'm begging you. She wasn't hysterical. Her face looked like someone who had already decided to walk into fire if it meant saving her child. The man's voice lowered. The moment the stick moved, it was essentially over. Because once it moves, you see it. You saw it, didn't you? The priestess who was eaten. You saw her. You saw the lower body too. Now you understand why. What? A and I didn't understand. Lower body? We didn't see any lower body. A managed to speak. We saw only the upper body. There was no lower half. The man and Aoi both reacted sharply. What are you saying? The man snapped. If the stick moved, you should have seen her lower half. Aoi leaned forward. When she appeared, did she have no lower body? Then how many arms? A and I spoke carefully. 6 arms, we said, 3 on each side, but no lower body. The man stood up and came closer. Are you sure? He demanded. You truly didn't see her lower half? I nodded. Yes. Then the man turned slowly back to B's mother, and he smiled. Ma'am, he said, I don't know how it will end, but there may be a chance. We all held our breath. Aoi explained. There are 2 ways to incur the priestess's grudge, she said. One is changing the shape that represents her, altering the form. The other is seeing what the form reveals, seeing her true appearance. The man continued. The truth is, once the stick moved, the person who moved it should have seen her fully, which should mean it's over. But somehow, you boys didn't see the full form. He looked at us again. If you didn't see it, then the one who moved it might not have seen it either. I tried to speak, but we did see something. Aoi nodded. You saw the priestess, she said, but perhaps not Kankandara itself. She paused, choosing words. If Kankandara didn't fully manifest, then it may not have had the intention to take your lives. It may have appeared only as the priestess, like a cruel game. The idea was confusing, the same being, but not the same state. The man exhaled. If it was only play, we can handle it, even if it takes time. The atmosphere in the room finally loosened. B's mother's face changed. Relief so intense, it looked like exhaustion breaking. The man spoke again. We will take full responsibility for your son. We'll explain everything to you later. As for you two, he pointed at A and me. Aoi will perform a purification for you. And from now on, learn fear. You need it. After that, B's mother stayed there. A and I were sent home after the purification. We never saw B again. He didn't return to school. I don't know if he transferred or dropped out. I don't know what happened. But I heard later that he survived, that he recovered, and that he's living somewhere normally. One more thing. B's father never showed his face during any of this. Not once. I still don't know what he was thinking. A and I recovered relatively quickly. There were many reasons, but the biggest one was seeing B's mother. Seeing how desperate she was, how much she carried, forced me to understand something we'd never respected before. What a mother is. After that, my family changed. A's family changed too. They started paying attention to us. And once that happened, we stopped doing stupid things. Later, we learned a few more details. On certain days, the people gathering near the restricted area were intermediaries, caretaker families like the Mans, performing consultations and maintenance. Kankandara was feared, but also treated almost like a god. People said the serpent was once regarded as a mountain or forest deity, and once a year, there were ritual performances, music, dances, like a sacred offering. We also learned why we heard the sound at the start. Kankandara was kept within the fenced zone in a sense, able to move and make sound within its boundary. The hexagon, the box, and the stick functioned as a seal. Unless you damaged the rope or altered the stick's shape, it wouldn't reveal itself fully. The offering site itself moved periodically to new mountains or forests, selected with strict rules and boundaries. It couldn't normally leave that zone, but if there was an outer fence, like the one we saw, it could cling to the outside, moving along the boundary the way we saw. All I truly know now is this: that site in our area was later removed. We didn't go back to confirm it. We couldn't. But almost a year later, we saw the fence being dismantled. So I assume it was moved somewhere else, and wherever it is now, I never want to be anywhere near it again.